Hello and welcome. Welcome to my channel. I'm John Stark from MacTheMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and I watched The Forge. This is on Netflix now. It has audio description. I didn't pay for this on VOD, and I did not see this in theaters. So no skin off my back, really. I see enough stuff on Netflix to pay for that subscription fee, regardless of whether or not I saw The Forge or not. So, this is released through Sony, but I believe their label is Affirm. This is a faith-based movie. This is a Christian movie, and um, I've seen this is not the first faith-based movie I've seen this year. Ordinary Angels, Unsung Hero, a couple of other films that fall into that wheelhouse. And I much prefer when Hollywood makes faith-based movies than when I don't know, Jim Bob makes faith-based movies, because faith-based has almost like a negative stigma because it can be horribly underfunded and poorly written, and like the message can erase an entire film because there may not even be a plot. Like Kirk Cameron's Saving Christmas has no plot. It's just Kirk Cameron musing on things for like an hour and a half. Yes, I've seen Kirk Cameron Saving Christmas. I'm not just complaining about that for no reason whatsoever. Did sit through that a long time ago. And I was like, this is not a movie. This is like a TED Talk. There's no plot here. Weird movie. Anyway, so this is my least favorite Christian movie of the year. And not because it's Christian. Like, it just lacks anything. It's just, so we open up on, there's this young man who is, I guess his sin is laziness. He's just kind of lazy. Like we've seen movies like this before where I did say this movie has audio description, right? It has audio description, sorry. Um, we've seen movies like this before where the main character is like dancing with danger, right? It's a black cast, so statistically, I mean, they're gonna make a movie where he's like maybe gonna be in a gang. I hate to say that, but it's true. It's sad, but it's true. Even Tyler Perry would probably make that movie. Um, but no, I think he just like he plays video games and plays basketball, and he just doesn't have a job. And his mom she's just had enough. He's just too lazy, and so she kind of tells him to ship up or ship out, and so he has to go and find a job and go to interviews, and there's a lot of influence in this movie on the fact that this kid grew up to be lazy because he didn't have a man in his life. Male influence. His dad walked out on him when he was young, and I was like, so this movie is offensive to single mothers. Got it. Check that. That's a hard check for any woman who's ever raised a man to be a decent human being who has like a job. And I don't know. I was raised by a single mother, and I managed to have a job, and I do this, and I had my own place and all that kind of. So I feel like I'm not the only one. I don't think I'm like the unicorn. I think there are plenty of people who have been raised by single mothers over the years, but for some reason this movie decides to have a single mother who is self defecating in terms of I use defecating, and I'm going with it, even though it means something completely different. Because now all I picture in my mind is somebody doing that. Um, I'm tired. Um, so yeah, she is willing to just be like, it's because I didn't have a man. No, I have a feeling she seems like a strong, like, kick-ass woman, like this woman feels like she could take down a mountain. Just, I mean, she has like the force of like 1,000 lions. You know what I'm saying? She's just every scene she's in, she dominates it, whether she should or not. She just is a presence. So, but she muses a lot with her church group and on things, and that's one of the things she muses about. But they're looking for like male mentorship in this kid's life, and there's this guy Troy who sort of is helping him out. You know, like trying to get positive role models, trying to get him in a job. Eventually, he gets into a job and he works at what best can be described as Amazon for fitness equipment. Uh, it says he works in fulfillment for a company that just handles. It's literally like something like my. I don't want to say it's My Fitness, Mega Fitness, something like that is the name of the company. Um, and the uh, owner slash manager of the whole thing is also deeply based in faith, and he offers a lot of mentorship. Everything here is about mentoring because when we get to it, the title of the movie, The Forge, is this sort of like the converse of what the mother goes to, where she hangs out with her female Christian bunnies. Well, there's this like male Christian group of like mentorship where they support each other and talk about God and get through life. So that's what the Forge actually is. It's the name of their brain trust. But that's not really what the movie's about. Anyway, the movie's about this kid that ends up working in a fulfillment center, and it all builds to this climax where you know, you see all of these workers and they're working in a fulfillment center, which we've also heard is like one of like the worst jobs to have right now. But this movie seems like it's covertly made to like make that job look awesome. You know, you've got the kid at home who plays video games, but then like in his spare time, but then he operates these robots like on the floor, like in and around the workers. So they work with these robot drone things that are like moving, helping to move things around. Uh, I don't know. You understand what I'm saying. Um, and so he's remote controlling all these robots throughout the warehouse, and there are these other employees, and everybody there seems relatively upbeat. You know, and then it all comes down to there's this deal where somebody who's a big client for them is thinking about going over to this other place that can fill faster or something like that. So the big climax at the end of the movie is them trying to make this order, you know, this impossible order in the middle of the night to save their business. And it made me think of all the times for anybody who's ever worked a crappy job before. You know that you've like gone above and beyond, and then you leave that job and like no one cares. At the end of the day, the impact that you felt for giving extra of yourself just really didn't matter, and the company certainly didn't care. Now they try to paint it as this guy's like watching, he really cares, and he sends in some. He calls like the supervisor that's there and is like, "Oh, make sure you get these guys like food and water." And you know the main guy Isaiah gets to deliver. They put a blazer on him, so it looks really cool. It's like, man, he's stepping up out of the warehouse because he was the one who he stepped up at the end. It's all about this kid stepping up and learning how to step up and be a man. It's like the whole thing of the movie. So actually, the reason I don't like this movie has nothing to do with the Christian element of this movie. It has everything to do with they all work at a fulfillment center, and this film feels very pro fulfillment center and doesn't really tackle any of the issues or problems that people seem to be having with being in a fulfillment center. It doesn't even like try to gift the film with like one of the guys there being like, man, I used to work for this other company and they had a fulfillment center and it was way worse than this. I'm so blessed to be here. Like, it doesn't even bother. It just makes it look like, don't you want to work in a fulfillment center? Working in fulfillment centers are awesome. And one day you're going to stay all night and pull an all-nighter so that it's unnecessarily. Just so that, you know. Anyway, um, I weird capitalist undertones in a Christian movie. Very odd. But yeah, there's this stuff here and a lot of prayer and stuff with his mom and other stuff. But no, that angle of the movie just didn't work for me. I was like, what is happening? And I was like, this is the moment that shows that he's a man too, by the way. This is what we build to. It's not, he doesn't have to like save a life. He doesn't have to show up for somebody. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not, his showing up is staying late and working extra hours for a company. That's how he shows up. It's so weird. It is so weird. And I guess that's what happens when you go to like a male Christian mentorship group with your boss. Very odd. Um, if you like faith-based movies, Christian movies, this one at least is well made because it has an actual budget, which is one of the things. Like it had a score that I enjoyed. The actors all felt like they could read a script. There are things that are missing when you don't let Hollywood make faith-based movies. But there's so much Jesus in this movie that I can't imagine somebody's gonna be like, oh my, this is not, this is not God. This steeped in Christianity. So, um, and while I wanted them to do something more outside of it, uh, I that oddly enough is not the reason why I don't like this. Sometimes it's cheesily worked in. It's very corny. But it's almost like there's two different plots. There's the plot about faith and getting the kid in church. And then there's also the plot about like making him become a man and having him have male mentorship roles. And then really like the third prong, which is like the job. So like everything almost feels like it's its own different thing, and they don't really intertwine nearly as much as you would think. So his faith really has very little to do with him staying late at the end of the movie. So not gonna knock it for that. Um, the audio description is fine. Sony hires, I think, like the same company every single time. Media Solutions, something like that. It seems to do all of their movies. So it might be an in-house thing that they do. I don't know. But yeah, I just, of the films I've seen this year that are faith-based, I just think Ordinary Angels and Unlikely Hero both had stronger plots. Unlikely Hero is also a true story, so that helps. Um, it's based on like a Christian rock band. So if you haven't seen that and you're looking for a faith-based movie, check that one out first. But this one's on Netflix. It's very average. I'm giving The Forge a C. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And I'll see you guys on the other side.